Tim, you're a 7-year NetApp veteran, right?
I am a fantastic 7 years at NetApp. The innovation has just been, an experience has been fabulous.
But you've been through several job roles. I mean, VP of Product Management for Data Center Solutions right now.
Correct.
But before that, another bunch of really interesting job titles.
I've had several roles at NetApp, and each of them have been equally rewarding. I've run strategy groups, I've run parts of the engineering team. You know, one of the fascinating things is what's really put NetApp on the map from the efficiency of the last few years of this deduplication software. My engineering team actually did the first introduction of that
well, I
software.
guess congratulations.
And that was a fabulous experience.
Thinking about the future. Is the future of hybrid cloud, or the future of cloud generally? I really want to get your perspectives on where it's heading.
Well, so I really resonate well with what Jay Kidd said on the main stage today. The imagine piece. Imagine what you could do if you didn't have the constraints that IT typically has placed on us from a move slow, cost more, respond very slowly, and have lots of these rule constraints. And a lot of the conversations I've been having at Insight with customers and partners have really talked about that sort of application workload and imagine what you could do if you had a more agile, a more responsive infrastructure and set of processes. And hybrid cloud really gives you that. And the data fabric that we've been talking about and introducing here at Insight have really sort of changed the dynamics of what IT can actually do. And you know, going back to this workload discussion has been really resonating well across the conversations I've been having, because customers think about, at least in a business context, what runs my business? What really runs my business? And it's applications and workloads. It's not infrastructure. Infrastructure is an enabler. So hybrid IT and hybrid cloud is a fascinating infrastructure that we're enabling. But really when we have that conversation about what runs your business, what can you imagine you could do at the application workload level?
I mean, how different is the world going to look in 2-3 years?
So there undoubtedly will be tremendous change in how customers think about deploying workloads and applications. They think about their infrastructure. And I think this is what's really powerful about what we've been talking about here at Insight, is that this future is a bit uncertain. How do you build an infrastructure that allows you to adapt to whichever direction this might take you? And I might decide that I really need to keep some of my data on my own premises because of sovereignty or security or other data concerns. But maybe in a year from now, I can move some of that and I want to combine it with another data source to do some better analytics about what my business really can deliver for me. And that happens to be best in a public cloud. Building an infrastructure on this data fabric and what we've been talking about in hybrid cloud enablement here at Insight is exactly what will enable customers to deploy now and adapt for the future.
Yep. And those application workloads, I suppose that's one of the things that really drives the decision about whether it sits on premises, in the cloud, or maybe when it moves from one to the other.
That's correct. It's what is that workload? What does it drive for my business? What insights for my business? What transactions for my business? How do I operate my business? And how can it change my business? How can it deliver better results, better insights, better profitability? And I think business owners, and I even see IT professionals in the leadership roles, are really thinking about not just about how do I optimize my infrastructure. I mean, we all think about saving money. It's really about how can I deliver more value to my business.
It's the CIO, for example. Well, no, particularly the CIO, but I suppose this needs to be a culture that goes all the way down the IT hierarchy.
Yes.
That you know, your role is not really to do IT. Your role is to help the business do the business.
Yes. And even an example of how that's changing in my own organization is that we've typically been a very technically oriented company. I mean, we just love the technology, and I love the technology like anyone else. But I've been infusing in my team to think more about all that great, cool technology. How does it make a difference to the business owner?
Right.
The person who has to deliver business results. Why do they care? And make sure that message comes clear in everything we do. I was talking to a customer where we had become almost essential to the CIO, and that we had learned so much about each of his multiple businesses and how they run that he asked us to come in and talk to his staff about how his operations are running.
Interesting.
And that's a big responsibility. We have to continuously be that partner that they can trust.
Another theme, particularly a theme that we came across yesterday a lot, was shadow IT. And we talked to a company that I know you're very familiar with, Symantec.
Granite Labs at Symantec is an amazing story, and it's amazing not only because of technology, but because of the business transformation that this small group of people were able to drive. And when I look at it from the perspective of being a trusted supplier to making all of this work, what I find fascinating is that they started out with a conviction that they could build an infrastructure that would deliver better business value to a large group of customers, so to speak, internal customers, that were currently doing things their own way. Building little small labs, things under the desk, right? Because they felt that was the only way they're going to be responsive. And many of these organizations were servicing their end customers. So they felt they had to control it. So they built this Granite Labs, started building the infrastructure, and slowly started attracting their internal customers. And at first it was slow, but they got the reputation of how much better the service level was than doing it their own way, doing it under the table. It was so much better service level in the way that these customers needed to service their end customers, that they ended up almost with a tsunami of customers just coming in. They heard the reputation, they heard the results, and they just started coming. And now they're run a tremendous volume of their internal infrastructure for servicing end customers in their support organization, which they're now the same group is being asked to take this to the corporate IT. Take the same best practices, the same architectures, the same learnings, and apply it to now essentially running the business. Taking orders, all of the things that take the back office is required to run a business. Apply the same principles.
Tim, this has been a fascinating conversation. Time has run away with us, as it always is when I have fascinating guests here. So I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. This has been a great time.